All right, Jake, it's Survivor Series, and it's the Visionaries, comprised of Martel, Warlord, Hercules, and Paul Roma, against the Vipers, which is yourself, the Rockers, and Jimmy Snuka. We've talked about Shawn Michaels before, but what about his tag team partner? Any memories of working with Marty Jannetty?
Marty was great, man. Are you kidding me? He was awesome in the ring. He did his job and then some,
Hmm.
A lot of color. The only problem with Marty was just outside the ring, you know. He just partied too hard, man.
I was going to ask about that because kind of they had this sort of on and off again relationship. The Rockers, I mean, had this on and off again relationship with Vince and the WWF due to some of their wild partying. Did you ever party with those guys?
Nope.
You'd just been hearing stories about how wild the two of them could
Uh,
be.
I I've been in some of the same places they've been, and I've watched them there, and I realized I didn't want to play that game.
You were talking about partying too hard in Mid South for Bruce Pritchard, so these guys must have been going really hard.
They were doing outlandish shit, man. They were trouble. I never looked for trouble. These guys did. They created it.
And they would certainly find trouble. I know that Shawn Michaels would get himself into a few pinches here and there down the road. I know he got jumped by a bunch of Marines when he was partying at one
Yeah,
point. So yeah, it's you find yourself in a predicament doing that shit.
got his ass kicked.
Yes, he did. Before we get off the Rockers, I did want to ask. So, kind of the narrative out there is that whenever there's a tag team, it always gets divided into and I think this is unfair. The Shawn Michaels of the tag team and the Marty Jannetty of the tag team. Whenever they become singles wrestlers, first of all, what do you think of that narrative? As far as like one guy's going to be a star, the other guy's going to be the Marty Jannetty of the group.
Well, Marty's was all because of his partying, man.
Mm.
But he was always in trouble. So that's unfair. Marty could have carried the stick just as well as Shawn did. And that's just where I'm at.
I have to agree, and a lot of people say that Marty, in ring, was actually more talented than Shawn.
I believe he was.
It's hard to deny it, especially you see some of his work back in that era. Man, the guy could go.
He did all the right things, man. He was just a handful out of the ring.